Shannon, what do you think? Does this contract validate that Aaron Donald is indeed the best player in football?
Well, Skip, I think it goes to show you what they think of Aaron Donald. Because a lot of times, Skip, when guys get to this age, I think he's 31 years of age, they're like, yeah, we've made a lot of money and we don't. Because, Skip, this is the way I look at a contract. I look at when you give a guy a contract extension, you're saying we believe you're going to maintain the level of play that we've seen you exhibit for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Skip, they've already paid him for what he's accomplished, the 3 Defensive Player of the Year, the 8 Pro Bowls, the 7 first-team All-Pros. They paid him for that. Now we've given you additional money. What we believe is that over the next 2 to 3 years, you will maintain the level of play that you've shown us, and this contract will be well worth what we've given you. I think it's $31.5 million, the highest money for a non-quarterback. It just goes to show you what and who Aaron Donald is. Since the merger, only 3 guys have gone to the Pro Bowl, defensive guys, in their first, since they've been in the league. LT did it, and Derek Thomas did it, and now Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald has now tacked on 7 first-team All-Pros, 3 Defensive Player of the Year. He has the Super Bowl on his resume. I mean, it's hard to get a more impeccable resume than what Aaron Donald has shown. And since he's been in the league, Skip, he has 36 more tackles for loss than the next closest player and 8 more sacks than any other player. So Aaron Donald has been as dominant as you can possibly be. He's been dominant. That's why they made him the highest paid defensive player at one point in time. Other guys come along. He knows how this works. And guess what? In the next 2 years, probably another guy's going to come along and going to make more money than Aaron Donald. But Aaron Donald has shown me over the course of his career that he's the preeminent defensive player, and I believe he's the best player in all of football. I'm not saying he's the most valuable. I'm saying I believe he's the best player in all of football when you combine what he does in the run game, the pass game, and how he can completely take a game over. So when you look at him, when they go into a game plan, if we can't block 99, you can't beat the Rams. And that's the highest compliment that you can play a guy. When you played the Giants, if you can't block 56, you can't beat them. And, hey, we all know how he revolutionized and changed the game. There have been some defensive players, but when you talk about 92, Reggie White, when you talk about a 78 and Bruce Smith, and you talk about 99, I happen to be in the era in which a lot of these guys played, from Reggie to Bruce Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Johnny Randall, Warren Sapp. Skip, this, like I said, when it's all said and done, it's going to be hard to say he's not the greatest defensive player that you ever saw. Now, he got away. I think he needs probably another Defensive Player of the Year, because LT, for me, is it. I think LT is the greatest defensive player that I ever saw. I can make a case he's the best player. But Aaron Donald is right there with him, Skip, step for step. He is a heck of a ball player. And the thing is, Skip, why it makes it so good that they did this deal, the Joker doesn't get injured. Knock on wood, Skip. He shows up every Sunday and puts in that work and gives the offense business. Yeah, it validates what I already knew. He's the best defensive player in the football. He's the best player in football. And the contract is for moving forward. I believe he'll pay this contract off over the next 2 years.
Okay, of all the opinions that you have spewed across the table at me since we've been partners here on Undisputed, these going on 7 years, this one is the one, and it's also sort of can I call it a cousin of, a relative of the first opinion you ever had on the show, which was that J.J. Watt was the best player in all of football, right?
Yep.
So those two sort of go hand in hand.
Right.
So it sort of graduated from J.J. Watt. It kind of went up a level to Aaron Donald, because you never put J.J. Watt in the same breath with Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, he was right there. He was well on his way, and then what happened, Skip? Injuries. Flipping tires and jumping up on 80-inch box.
So of all these opinions, this is the one that continues to blindside me, dumbfound me, gobsmack me, thunderstrike me, because I can't even begin to wrap my head around the fact that you continue to say that Aaron Donald is the best player in all of football, and yet then you try to qualify or disqualify. I'm not saying he's the most valuable. Well, they're together. They're the same definition.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Hold on, tell me. So every year someone else won the MVP, that means they were the best player? You can be the MVP and not be the best player. And we just had a conversation about Dak. Hold on. The Cowboys just said their top 3 players, their top 3 best players were someone other than Dak Prescott. Are you telling me Zach Martin is more valuable than Dak Prescott? That's not what they said. You can be better and not be as valuable. Skip, don't do that.
Okay, so I have watched Aaron Donald closely, in part just for you, because I'd watched him many times against my Dallas Cowboys, and the harder I watched, the less I saw. But that's just against my Cowboys, because if I just look at his numbers against the Dallas Cowboys over the years, you realize that he has one total sack in 5 games, including a playoff game against my Cowboys. And you say, well, it's just 1 sack. Well, the other numbers are very low. Well, he was going up against a very good offensive line that just neutralized him. So in the end, I kept saying, I just don't see enough, because I did watch a whole lot of Lawrence Taylor, number 56. And every single time I went to a game, and I covered many of his games live, every single time I turned on my television, he leaped off my screen. I could just see 56, and I'd say, they cannot block 56 with 2 people or 3 people. They cannot keep him from completely destroying the offense. I said the same thing about my man, number 94 in Dallas metallic blue, and that was Charles Haley. I think he is underrated. I thought Charles Haley was more destructive than Reggie White was in the biggest picture. Go look how many Super Bowl rings Charles Haley won. Yeah. If you watch closely, if you watch closely the way I did Charles Haley, he absolutely destroyed offenses. They just couldn't deal with 94 flying off the edge with strength and bend and complete explosion like I'd never seen before. I don't see it in Aaron Donald.
You mean to tell me that had I take Reggie White and I put him on those 49ers teams with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and John Taylor and Roger Craig, are you trying to tell me they don't have the same level of success?
I'm just telling you what I saw as an edge rusher. Reggie's more like Aaron Donald. He moves around. He rushed some off the edge, but a lot of times he's rushing from the 2 inside spots. Okay. It's hard when you're more inside to disrupt and destroy. You can anchor. You can force 2 people to try to hold that line against you, but in the end, it doesn't ultimately destroy the offense. And yet, of all the Aaron Donald games that I watched, the best one he ever played was the Super Bowl game. And then guess what Cincinnati did? They said, we are so bad in the offensive line that they went out and they got Alex Kappa from the Buccaneers, and they got Ted Karras, who started, of course, in New England, and then they got Lyle Collins late of my Dallas Cowboys. And they're hoping that their kid Jackson Carman, they took in the 2nd round, who was a rookie last year, who played some during the regular season but missed the Super Bowl. They hope he comes back strong, so they'll have 4 new starters in their offensive line to protect a Joe Burrow, who is completely at the mercy of the Rams' pass rush in the Super Bowl. So Aaron Donald should have actually been even better than he was. He came on late after they were worn down.
If that's the case, why didn't everybody else do what Aaron Donald did in the Super Bowl? If it was so easy, if that line was so bad, how the hell did they even get there to begin with?
I don't know. That quarterback is really, really
he wasn't good enough to beat that. And see, you made
he almost was.
I know almost.
He came within 1 bad call of beating him.
Think about what you just said, Skip. You say because Aaron Donald, it's hard for him to disrupt the game because he plays the interior. The mere fact that he can disrupt the game as much as he does from the interior tells you just how dominant he is, because he isn't on the edge that often.
Okay. So I guess the first thing that should happen for Aaron Donald, he should fire his agent, because his agent's Todd France, who was Dak's agent.
Yeah.
Todd France got Dak $75 million combined total dollars with all the bonuses. In the first year of his contract, he made $75 million. Well, gee, that's close to the whole contract that Aaron Donald got. Okay. And that's including an option year in the 3rd year. And I don't know if he'll make it to the 3rd year.
But Skip, that's not an agent fault. That's the CBA. Because they've slotted the players, and because it says that if you're this, you can't make that. It's not like basketball, because a point guard can make just as much as a center, and a center can make just as much as a power forward and a 2 guard. In baseball, the same thing. An outfielder can make as much as a pitcher. A catcher can make as much as a first baseman. But that's not how it is in football, and you know that. Considering what he got, when you got 2 years left on your contract, and somebody comes back to you and says, we're going to make you the highest paid, where else do they do that at? The Rams were willing to do that because that guy's earned that. But they also said, you know what? Aaron Donald doesn't get hurt. Aaron Donald doesn't cause us problems. I'm not going to worry about him late for meetings. I'm not going to have to worry about, man, hey, AD in trouble again. And when you, Skip, it's a lot easier to give a guy that kind of money when you go to bed at night and you can put your phone on silent. You can put your phone on Do Not Disturb. How many times you think Jerry Jones puts his phone on Do Not Disturb? Put his phone on silent.
Okay, so let's go this way. If there were a hypothetical draft tomorrow, and theoretically everybody in pro football was thrown out into the open draft, and you could have them for just next year, where would Aaron Donald go in that draft? Where would he go?
Obviously, the quarterback. See, what you try to do, you do this every time. But see, I still want you to tell me why then Dak is, if Dak is this good, why isn't he a top 3 Cowboy? Just tell me that. If you explain that, I'll answer your question.
Okay, it's a horrible commentary on my quarterback because he's just not that good.
Okay.
He's just not that good.
Let me ask you
he's mediocre at best.
Is he more valuable than Tyron Smith, Michael Parsons, or Zach Martin? Is he more valuable to the Cowboys? It's a simple yes or a simple no.
Well, obviously he is to me.
No, not just to you. Is he more valuable?
Okay, well, given your system of thinking, he's not.
It's not, no.
Given your system, that's what you're telling me.
I'm asking you.
Okay, they're
I'm
looking at
asking you.
No, Pro Football Focus is looking at it just the way you do. They're thinking Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. They're influenced by them. They've been drinking your Kool-Aid from your side of the table. And they're like, well, wait a second. He's better at his position than he is at his position.
Yes.
So?
That's how you have to skip. That's the only way you can properly
now you'd have to answer my question.
Yes.
Where would Aaron Donald go in that hypothetical draft?
He's not going before a quarterback because quarterbacks have more value because they have the ball more. You can do more with the ball in your hands than you can.
They don't have the ball more. They have it all the time because he never has the ball in his hands.
But, Skip, that's why you go get an Aaron Donald to take the ball away from him. The more guys that you have like an Aaron Donald that can take the ball from a Brady, that can take the ball from a Mahomes, because at the end of the day, what happened? They were on the field. That guy was on the field when the rubber needed to meet the road. And what did he do? He made a play. He made a play.
Would you ever rather have Von Miller at his peak or Aaron Donald at his peak?
This is not a Von Miller discussion.
Okay, well, I'm bringing
Aaron Donald.
Well, you bring up Tom Brady and everybody else every time. And by the way, speaking of Brady, right here, right now, if you said to Tampa Bay just going into next year, would you rather have Tom Brady or Aaron Donald?
You're going to take the quarterback. You're always going to take a top quarterback. Skip.
Okay.
But under your theory, you said any quarterback has more valuable than Aaron Donald, and I don't believe that.
Okay, where would he go in a hypothetical first round? Would he go 20th? Would he go 17th?
Yeah. It's easy to say, well, he's a quarterback. Quarterback, non-quarterback. I'm basing it on Aaron Donald is the best player, although he's not the most valuable player, based on what he's done. If you look at him and to players comparable at his position, he's further ahead at his position than anybody else is at their position. And it's not close.
Yeah, but his position isn't nearly as valuable as all these other positions.
But the mere fact that, Skip, you still putting up against comparable. Okay, yes, a quarterback is more valuable. And if you want to say the left tackle is more, but there is not a left tackle comparable. You'd have to go get a Walter Jones or a Jonathan Ogden to try to find a comparable match because there isn't one that's currently playing that's comparable to what he is and what he does.
So in the biggest picture, if you went right now to Carolina or Seattle and you said you can have Aaron Donald, let's just do Tom Brady at 45. Would those teams rather have Tom Brady or Aaron Donald at 45?
You know they're going to take the quarterback.
They would,
but this is not about that.
Okay.
But he's a better player. I'm not saying he's more valuable. You see, you keep going to value. Obviously, a guy that has the ball every single time and can put points on the board is going to have more value.
Okay, who's the most valuable Los Angeles Ram?
Probably Matthew Stafford.
Probably?
Yes, probably Matthew Stafford.
Well, I think it's definitely. Wouldn't you go to definitely?
Would you, hold on. I didn't notice you didn't say that when he was in Detroit. You told me when he got this, when you said he wasn't the guy. Now, all of a sudden, to help make your argument, now Matthew Stafford is Tom Brady.
Was Super Bowl MVP, right? Okay.
No, Cooper Kupp was.
Okay, well, that's true. I wanted to get to Cooper Kupp. So, right now, if you had to rank in value the Los Angeles
I would take Aaron Donald over Cooper Kupp.
I would not.
Okay.
Okay. Cooper Kupp only won the Triple Crown last year and put up historical numbers, the likes of
For
which
one season.
I'm not sure we'll ever see again.
Aaron Donald has done this since he's been in the league. He's a 7-time. He's one of 3 men since the merger. A Pro Bowler in all 8 seasons. 7 times he's been first team all Pro. He won 3 Defensive Player of the Year. And you could have made a case. Look, Cooper Kupp got the award, Super Bowl MVP. But would anyone have been disappointed if Aaron Donald had gotten that award, Skip? And maybe had they waited till after that final drive, he would have, because he single-handedly wrecked it.
Okay. Who wasn't in Detroit with Matt Stafford? Cooper Kupp. Are you sure?
Well, what about, hold on, is Cooper Kupp better than Megatron?
Well, they weren't able to win. You know what? I think he's more valuable than Megatron. He runs routes better than Megatron. He gets open more than Megatron got open.
No, Skip.
They were able to do more damage with him.
He's more of a slot. Megatron, I mean, I get it. Cooper Kupp had a historical season. There have been very few guys to win the Triple Crown. My brother won the Triple Crown 2 years after Jerry won it in '90. Steve Smith won it, and Cooper Kupp won it.
Yep.
So I understand what the Triple Crown means: yards, catches, and touchdowns. But Skip, to say Cooper Kupp's better than Megatron is just not true.
Okay, but we're talking about security blanket for Matthew Stafford. Who was he more comfortable finding and throwing to under duress?
Yeah, but you think about what he did. Think about what he did to Megatron. He's just like, I think 81's down there somewhere. Hell, let me throw it as far as I can. He'll jump up and catch it. Skip, they put 2 guys on him. They treated him like he was a gunner on punt team. They put 2 guys in the red zone in front of him. They don't do that with Cooper Kupp. They don't line 2 guys right up on top of Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they do. By come playoff time, they were putting 3 people on him. They were trying everything. It's why your man Odell started getting open, because it was always single and it was always the 4th best corner.
Okay, I get all that, and I don't want to get too far from this, but Aaron Donald, Skip, I think the thing is, most people, if you go and ask general managers or you ask current and former players that have watched this guy, Skip, he's every bit of what I'm saying he is.
Okay, and what is that exactly? That's my problem, because you have made the case he's the best player in football.
Yes.
I just can't, I don't see it, because
You don't see it because he doesn't skip, because we based everything on scoring. We based everything on touchdown. We based everything on yards. So it's hard for you to see a guy that doesn't score touchdown, that doesn't rush for 100 yards, that doesn't receive for 150 yards, that doesn't throw for 300 yards. It's hard for you to see the value in that when everything is placed, because they've set the rules up so you can score. But so how can a guy be valuable if he doesn't score?
Okay, how can you be valuable when you don't actually knock the quarterback down at least a couple of times a game?
He does.
And he doesn't. So he played Brady in the first go-round in the first Super Bowl against the Patriots, right? And he had 0 sacks in that game, okay? And it wound up 13-3.
But what happens, Skip, is that when you look at Brady, if you just have one great guy, it's hard to get to Brady because they'll set the protection. Look at Brady when he plays Von Miller when he was in Denver, and they had DeMarcus Ware, and they had Malik Jackson, and they had a Derek Wolfe, and they just could not single out Von Miller. They ate his lunch. You watched what they did to him when he went down to when they went down to Tampa. When Aaron Donald got on that plane and they went down, and he had Von Miller and he had Leonard Floyd. They knocked him around, Skip. Don't do that. You saw what he did.
I saw him in the regular season game out here early on against the Rams, and he did have 1 sack late in the first half in that game as Brady threw for 432 yards.
How many, but let me ask you a question. How many of those touchdowns came when they was within 14? How many came when they was within 17? The game was out of hand, so he was very Prescottian. He was very empty calorie. So don't do that, Skip.
432 is a lot of empty calories.
It is. But Skip, how close were they to winning the game? I just want you to tell me that. You got upset because Sean McVay was running up and down the sideline, and you told me they were going to get him back. When they played him again in the playoffs, and they didn't get him back.
So here came the playoff game at Tampa, and your man rang up a grand total of 1 sack in that game.
Skip, you do realize, think about it, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of argument, I played 10 years and I'm a defensive player. You do realize all I need is 1 sack a game, and I'm going to be first team All-Pro every year. Think about what I did. That's 17 sacks a season.
These are the games. Right?
And he did it. It's the game. Hold on.
Those are against the defending champ.
And what did he do? Got it.
In the playoff game, his defense gave up 24 unanswered points. That's a lot of points.
Skip. But okay, what did his offense give up? They turned the ball over 4 times. The game was 24-3. The game was 24-3, and then Tampa fumbled the ball on the two-yard line, going in for a touchdown. At worst case, they get a field goal. So don't pretend like
here they came.
And then what did they do?
24 unanswered.
I just
Where
want to know
was he?
who is the Super Bowl champ? Is it Tampa? Did they come or did they go?
Well, the Super Bowl MVP, as you point out, it was Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Not Aaron Donald. He didn't take the game.
So in other words, if you're whomever Super Bowl, in other words, since the Super Bowl MVP, because there have been several times that Tom Brady wasn't Super Bowl MVP. So Julian Edelman was more valuable than Tom Brady. So Deion Branch was more valuable than Tom Brady. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I thought those were just...
No, just what you thought. I'm just telling you, so that's what you're telling me?
I made the case both times that Brady was the clear-cut MVP in both games.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What about the first Super Bowl they won? Was he more valuable than Vrabel? Was he more valuable than Ty Law? Ty Law set the tempo with the pick 6.
I'll buy that.
Okay.
Except he did direct a game-winning drive. At the end, he completed 5 straight huge passes.
They just held the greatest show on turf to like 20 points below this.
I give you that. I told you Belichick had one great defensive moment, and then he got exposed.
Skip, so what about the play on the goal line against Seattle? What about what he did against the Eagles in Jacksonville?
Yeah, well, Brady against Seattle was throwing for 124 in the fourth quarter against the Legion of Boom. Wow.
Skip, hold on. Even that wouldn't have been matter. Think about this. You said he threw for 124. He threw for 505, but the defense gave it up and they lost. So if New England's defense don't do what they do on the goal line, so what if that 124 gets Tom Brady? A L. Give him credit.
Well, he was down 24-14 going into the fourth quarter.
Why was he down to begin with? Like you tell me, when LeBron James, why was he down? Did he not get the ball? That's why they say defense win championships.
That's why they say the fourth quarter is the money quarter, and Tom Brady owns it.
And Coach Belichick defense always come up big in the fourth quarter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Eli
did.
In the first Super Bowl? Yeah,
come up big.
Nick Foles? Yeah, big.
Eli licked him. Eli got Tom Brady, nipped him at the. Oh, he didn't even nip it. Do it to him every time.
Way to go.
Yeah, that captain is in. Do it to me one more time.
You sure Aaron Donald's heart is in this? Is his heart in this? I don't know.
What you mean his heart is?
Talking about retiring. Brady's playing at 45, and Aaron Donald's saying, I don't know.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.